In one of the most surprising events, Claude Mythos 5 and Fable 5 have been blocked by the US government. 3 days ago, Anthropic launched Claude Fable 5, the public version of its Mythos class model. People were building things with it they could not build with anything else. And then, at 5:21 on a weekday evening, the US government sent Anthropic a directive. And within hours, Fable 5 and Mythos 5 were gone. Not paused, pulled for every customer. The reason given is national security. And Anthropic, the company that built it, says it does not even agree with the government's reasoning. So we are going to have a quick walkthrough of what exactly has happened and why. And the new benchmark result where GPT 5.5 actually beat Fable 5 before it disappeared and where GPT 5.6 stands right now. Because the timing of all this is not a coincidence. Let us get straight into it. Now this is really crucial. Let me lay out what actually happened because the details matter and a lot of the early reaction got them slightly wrong. This is not a product recall or a safety bug Anthropic found on its own. It is a government directive. Specifically, the US government issued what has been described as an export control directive citing national security, ordering Anthropic to suspend all access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5 for any foreign national, whether they are inside or outside the United States. That even includes Anthropic's own foreign national employees. Here is the part that turned it from a restriction into a shutdown. To actually comply with the rule that broad, Anthropic could not just block foreign users. It had to disable the models for everyone, US customers included. So the net effect of a directive aimed at foreign access was that nobody got to keep using Fable 5. The timeline was fast. According to Anthropic's own statement, the directive landed at 5:21 in the evening Eastern Time, and within a few hours, access was cut. If you had a Fable 5 session running, it ended with an error. New sessions quietly fell back to Opus 4.8 or your default model. On the API, Fable 5 requests just started returning errors. Now the reason behind it. The government's stated concern is that it believes someone found a method of bypassing or jailbreaking Fable 5. The idea being that if you strip away the safeguards Anthropic built into it, you would be left with the raw Mythos class model doing whatever a bad actor wanted. Axios reported that a separate company claimed it had managed to jailbreak Mythos and that the administration had actually tried to get Anthropic to delay releasing both models before launch and did not succeed. And this is where it gets genuinely interesting, because Anthropic does not agree. In its statement, Anthropic said the government's letter did not even provide specific details of the national security concern. When Anthropic looked at what the government had apparently found, it said it did not see the problem. It called the vulnerabilities minor, the kind that exist in essentially every frontier AI model on the market. Anthropic's argument was blunt. If this same standard were applied across the whole industry, it would halt every new model deployment from every frontier lab, not just theirs. Anthropic also pointed out a principle it has stated just days earlier. The company had publicly said the government should have the power to block unsafe AI deployments, but only through a process that is transparent, fair, clear, and grounded in technical facts. Its position now is that this directive did not meet those standards. So Anthropic is complying because it is a legal order, while openly saying it believes this is a misunderstanding and it is working to restore access as fast as possible. There is one more reading of this worth putting on the table, in fairness, because plenty of people in the industry are saying it. Fable 5 was extraordinarily expensive to run, somewhere in the range of hundreds of dollars an hour on API pricing for heavy use. So a few skeptics have suggested Anthropic was never going to sustain free public access to a Mythos class model for long, and that the government directive is a convenient exit. I want to be clear that there is no evidence for that. It is speculation. But it is part of the conversation, and the honest thing is to tell you it exists and that nothing supports it right now. What is not speculation is the precedent. Whatever the real reason, a government just reached in and switched off the most capable AI model available to the public, and the company that made it says it does not agree with why. That is the part that is going to matter long after Fable 5 comes back, if it comes back. As we are about to enter the most crucial part of the video, just hit that like button and press that lonely subscribe button as well. Here is the part that makes this whole story even stranger. In the few days Fable 5 was actually live, it did not sweep everything the way the launch hype promised. On one important new test, it lost to a model from April UC Berkeley, released a benchmark called the Agent's Last Exam. The whole reason it exists is to measure real economically useful work. The long, messy, multi-step tasks that look like an actual job, instead of the clean, isolated puzzles every model has already trained on. It is built specifically to resist the benchmark gaming that makes every launch look like a breakthrough. On that leaderboard, GPT 5.5, running through OpenAI's Codex harness, took first place with a 24% pass rate. Fable 5, the brand new Mythos class model that launched the day before, came in third at 22%. The older, cheaper OpenAI model beat Anthropic's newest flagship. I want to be fair about what that does and does not mean, because it is easy to swing too hard on it. It does not mean GPT 5.5 is the better model overall. On hard coding benchmarks like SWE-Bench Pro, Fable 5 scores around 80% against GPT-5.5 quote S59, and that gap is large and real. What the agent's last exam actually shows is that raw model horsepower does not automatically win at long real-world agent work, and the scaffolding OpenAI built around its models with Codex is genuinely strong. And there is a detail inside the result that matters more than who placed where. The entire leaderboard tops out at 24%. The best AI agents on the planet are failing this exam roughly 3 times out of 4. So the honest headline is not GPT beats Fable. It is that none of these models, not Fable, not GPT, are anywhere near as ready for real autonomous work as the marketing suggests. Which makes the timing of the suspension almost poetic. The government pulled the most powerful public model in the world. During the same week, a benchmark reminded everyone that even that model still fails most real tasks. And it sets up the obvious question. If GPT 5.5 can already top that board, what does GPT 5.6 do? Because that one is reportedly very close. So with Fable 5 suddenly gone, all eyes swing to OpenAI. And the honest status of GPT 5.6 is that it is real, it is close, and it is not here yet. Let me be straight about what is confirmed versus what is not, because this is exactly the kind of topic where the internet invents details. OpenAI has not announced GPT 5.6. There is no model card, no API entry, no official date. Everything we have comes from leaked internal checkpoints, mainly one called Kindle Alpha that surfaced in Codex testing logs in early June. Prediction markets put the odds of a public release by the end of June at roughly 80 to 85%, but that is a crowd placing bets, not a company making a promise. Some people who track these leaks closely think a release inside the next week is actually unlikely. Treat all of it as signal, not fact. That said, the leaks are consistent on one thing. And it happens to be the exact area Fable 5 was weakest, front-end generation. Developers are calling it UI de-slopification. One widely shared example showed GPT 5.6 with no detailed design instructions, generating a clean minimalist note app with pixel-perfect spacing and restrained, tasteful colors instead of the usual oversaturated AI look. The same developer had been complaining about GPT's ugly interfaces a week and a half earlier. That is a fast turn. The other two recurring claims are a context window around 1.5 million tokens, larger than Fable 5's, and a heavy focus on token efficiency. And that efficiency point is the one I would underline because it connects directly to everything we just talked about. Fable 5 was reportedly costing heavy users hundreds of dollars an hour to run. If GPT 5.6 delivers near-frontier capability at a fraction of that cost, then the model that is actually available, affordable, and not subject to a government shutdown suddenly looks a lot more attractive than the most powerful model that you cannot use. There is also a regression flag worth mentioning. That Kindle alpha checkpoint has reportedly shown a possible step backward compared to earlier internal versions, which is a normal part of release tuning, but a reminder that the shipped model could land better or worse than the leaks suggest. So here is where the whole picture lands. The most powerful public model just got switched off by the government 3 days after launch. The model that beat it on the most realistic benchmark we have is the cheaper one from April. And the model everyone is now waiting on is reportedly built around the exact things Fable 5 struggled with: design, cost, and accessibility. Whatever happens with the suspension, the momentum just shifted, and it shifted toward the model that is cheaper and still standing. Tell me, which is your favorite AI and why? And what is your opinion about this whole GPT and Claude saga?